Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio and TV, promoting Veterans Day. Hope you all take a little bit of time to thank someone who served, share a little bit of love, take a little bit of contemplation time to really be grateful for the freedoms that we have. I'm publicly speaking out nobly, boldly, independently. President Trump, you've cranked up tariffs. Good for you. Now Congress needs to get behind that and codify the things that you've done. Furthermore, though, I'm asking President Trump, please seize the opportunity, seize the day, my friend, and abolish the criminal IRS immediately. The sooner you get that done, ladies and gentlemen, the sooner we will absolutely have the 2026 midterm elections in the bag. If you really want to make a difference, shut down the IRS. All right, now, Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett speculated on defending democracy. I don't know if you know about that show. Like, it's Mark Elias who does the show. I don't know why you'd want to defend democracy since we don't have a democracy, but forget that realistic error. She says that Republicans might rig the 2026 midterms using Dominion voting machines. I kid you not. Noting that Scott, I don't know how you say this guy's name, Linebecker or whatever his name, bought the Dominion voting system. And his acquisition was contingent on dropping lawsuits against conservatives and OAN, the news network. He emphasized that Liberty Vote, the new owner of Dominion, will focus on accountable election systems. Dominion settled a major defamation lawsuit against Fox and OAN News, and Democratic commentators are really worried now. They say that Republicans are confident in the midterm elections because now they've got the ability to commit election fraud. I don't know how to respond to this. Sheriff, let's start with you on this thing. They said there was no such thing as election fraud. They said we were up in the night crazy that it wasn't happening, that the machines weren't capable of this. Now they're all worried about it there, Sheriff.
Well, it actually makes me laugh. But it's such a serious crime that the Democrats actually promoted and caused. And now that those machines belong to someone who has ties with Trump, they're scared to death, even though they said there was no such thing as election fraud. The 2020 election was the most secure, safest, and reliable election in the history of our country. Just ask Joe Biden, because I just quoted him word for word. So
you can't ask Joe. He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
we just played a clip yesterday where he was actually on stage and they treated him like a toddler. They're like, okay, you're going to go off stage now, Joe. He's like, I am? Really? Why?
Jasmine, if she would just sit there and look pretty, because I think she's kind of an attractive woman, but the minute she opens her mouth, she just makes everybody know for a surety that she's a fool. And so... that's what Abraham Lincoln said. I open my mouth and people know that. But anyway, that's her. She's the epitome of that. And so what comes around goes around, right, Jasmine? Yeah.
Amen to that. And Mark Elias has this show called Defending Democracy. Why would you ever want to defend democracy? The founding fathers clearly warned against democracy, every single one of them almost, saying how disastrous it would be. Well, to join the conversation, Tom DeWeese, our dear friend. He's president and founder of American Policy Center, AmericanPolicy.org. Tom DeWeese is one of the nation's leading advocates of individual liberty, free enterprise, private property rights, personal privacy, American sovereignty, and more. Tom, welcome. And what do you think of this? They're worried now, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be with you guys. I really appreciate it. This is the Democrats are just masters at blaming the Republicans for everything that the Democrats do. They, no matter how bad it comes out, that's the Republicans' fault. It's just amazing to watch them do that. They have no shame, and they'll say anything they want. Yeah.
I also find that interesting that the Dominion voting system was sold right after all this kind of stuff. That's very interesting indeed. And I'm not really for election fraud in any way. But you got to kind of wonder with this thing, what's going to happen? Are we just going to have a fresh new batch of allegations against Dominion? Well, the Republicans should be digging into this and getting to the bottom of this Dominion voting fraud. Are the machines really a problem? True the Vote and others are speaking out boldly and claiming they have all kinds of evidence. But see, where's Donald? Well, he's just overseas and at football games. Where's Congress? Oh, they're sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. I mean, seems like nobody's home, Tom.
Yeah, the problem is the Republicans go along with the game that the Democrats set up. This whole election system, whether it's early voting, mail-in ballots, the voting machines, were all created by the Democrats. I don't care if they sold Dominion. The Democrats still have a finger in there. I'm absolutely positive of it. The Republicans go along with it. And let me give you some examples of this last election we just had last week. The Republicans were going to have a major, major vote. You heard on a lot of media, especially more conservative media, talking about, are you tired of winning yet? And the Democrats are never going to win another thing. And it's all over. They're finished. And lo and behold, election day was a basically Democrat rout. And how did that happen? Well, here we got this information. On the night before the election in Virginia, Spanberger had 125,000 early mail-in votes.
Ain't that cool?
And the next morning, she had 300,000 all of a sudden. Then on the attorney general race, which should have been, the guy that Meares was running against, Jones, should have been in jail, not running, on the thing. At 15 minutes before the polling closed, all of a sudden, Meares lost votes, and Jones surged forward. Yeah, but there's no cheating going on here, And the Republicans
and the Republicans aren't even calling it out anymore. They're just like, exactly. Oh man, we took a beating. Sorry. Well, we're coming back though. Don't worry. We're gonna focus on affordability now. Don't you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We were the affordability people before the affordability stole the affordability from us, and so we're going back to affordability, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. The Republicans let the Democrats create the game, and then they try to play in it. When Republicans lose, they go, well, golly gee, that's too bad. Democrats, if they lose, they say that will never happen again, and they dive in and they make sure. And now they are, just really waving the flags right now about how they're totally convinced they're going to take the midterm elections next year and completely wipe out everything that Trump did. And the Republicans don't get it. They don't know how to play the game. They don't know how to bring out what is it they're fighting for? How do they know when they've lost when they don't know what they were fighting for? And the Democrats have a very specific agenda. There is no doubt in their minds what that agenda is.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the Republican agenda really even is. I know what Trump's agenda is, and I commend him for a lot of it. But without Congress codifying it can be overturned as fast as it was put in place, number one. But number two, how come we're not prosecuting these criminals? We talk about these criminals every single day. New evidence comes out about their criminal activity every single day, that it was buried and that was covered up and this and that. But we're not really prosecuting anybody. We're slow walking some of these things to where we make you believe that, they're going to get Comey. They're going to but they're slow walking it. They've got Ghislaine Maxwell having a party in prison now because they've given her such an easy time in prison. We're not taking this seriously enough. And what do the Republicans have to run on in 26? I don't really see anything.
That's exactly right. And here we have major crises coming towards us, threats coming at us. I get into this whole AI thing that Trump is promoting, saying we've got to be number one in the world on that, so that we make sure that we're leading on it. That is the worst. I'm terrified of that. Is moving towards that. You want to keep freedom alive. You want to keep private property. You want to keep our free enterprise system going and everything. We have got to get this reined in. And the Republicans.
If President Trump wants to make an executive order, let him abolish the IRS. The next thing he could do is he could say we're bringing the states that joined the union late or later. We're going to back up and bring the equal footing clause in place, and we're going to give them back their land and get the heck out of their property. We're going to go ahead and open up land and opportunity for the American people. We're going to get the Federal Reserve shut down so we have honest money once again. I mean, there's so many things that could be done, but he's just too busy arguing that somebody on the Federal Reserve is kind of ugly or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Sheriff Mack, what do you think? We don't mean just to gripe and complain. Here's the reason I'm spending time on it. It's not that I want to beat up Trump or beat up the Republicans because, hey, they're better than the Democrats in many, 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 many ways. But I believe we have a very narrow window of opportunity to possibly double down and get something productive done. And if we do, then I think we can absolutely run with credibility for 2026. Right now, I'm afraid they're going to miss the opportunity is my concern. And there's a window in which I can speak out and hopefully change the game. We'll talk about it with Sheriff Mack and Tom DeWeese in seconds. You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At cspoa.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever.
This is a battle between truth and deceit. A battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Why don't we say to the government writ large that they have to spend a little bit less? Anybody ever had less money this year than you had last? Anybody ever having a 1% pay cut? You deal with it. That's what government needs, a 1% pay cut. If you take a 1% pay cut across the board, you have more than enough money to actually pay for the disaster relief. But nobody's going to do that because they're fiscally irresponsible. Who are they? Republicans. Who are they? Democrats. Who are they? Virtually the whole body is careless and reckless with your money. So the money will not be offset by cuts anywhere. The money will be added to the debt, and there will be a day of reckoning. What's the day of reckoning? The day of reckoning may well be the collapse of the stock market. The day of reckoning may be the collapse of the dollar. When it comes, I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you it has happened repeatedly in history when countries ruin their currency.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Sheriff Mack on Liberty Roundtable with Sam Bushman and our special guest today, Tom DeWeese. Wow, Tom DeWeese. Folks, just so you know, I believe that the Republicans do have a little bit to run on. 1, securing our border. 2, opening up energy exploration and renewal of all the oil wells going crazy right now. So I really think that if Republicans would stick to that and try to do something to make our country better, but Tom is absolutely correct, folks. The problem is Republicans keep following Democrat dogma, and they try to keep up with them. Don't try to keep up with them. Take charge and be the leaders that you're supposed to be and get us back to constitutional government. Do not fall for their idiotic save democracy. Democracy and liberty are not synonymous. They're opposites. Expose what they're doing and run on a pro-American platform, pro-capitalist society. The thing that Tom DeWeese just said a little while ago, free market system, that's capitalism. And the key component of all of that is the word free. It's based on freedom, initiative, and ingenuity instead of government doing and handing out all the entitlements. So, Tom, am I right? Because I'm actually just quoting you.
Well, then obviously you are right. But,
Well, and I would clarify, though, and say Trump has done those things. The Congress hasn't, though. They've been derelict in their duty and sitting home most of the time. They haven't really done hardly anything except for passed a big bloated expense bill. That's all they've really done.
Can't argue with that.
let me give you a little bit of background here on some things I think would help a lot on this and what we're facing. Before we can fight back on all this, we have to understand what we're up against. And as I said, the left, not just Democrats, we are not dealing with just confused Democrats that have some funny, weird policies. We're dealing with a movement. And there is a global movement that has a very specific agenda. I've talked about it for 35 years. It started out with Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the 17 goals of that, the Green New Deal, the Great Reset of the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum has become the real force in the world pushing that agenda. Now, interestingly enough, in October of 2024, just before the election of President Trump, the World Economic Forum held a summit in San Francisco called the Urban Transformation Summit. And interestingly enough, it seems that they understood Trump was going to win. And at the federal level, he was going to cause them real chaos with this agenda, the agenda to completely control our economy, our private property, our individual liberty, the three pillars of freedom. That's what it's all about.
Tom, stay still so you don't, your mic makes too much noise. Stay still.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Keep going. There it is right there.
So they had this summit. The purpose of it was to prepare for Trump taking over. And what do they do about it? Go local, go to state legislatures, go to city councils, go to county commissions. And
so did Trump arrest these criminals for breaching the sovereignty of the United States?
No, he didn't. He didn't at all.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, I just learned this the other day. In October 2nd of this year, the World Economic Forum held another summit in Wichita, Kansas. It was called the Economic Outlook Conference. And one of the things they announced was Kansas has been chosen as the laboratory for remobilizing globalization. Again, local, taking care of it at the local level, the state level. And so meanwhile, we're having all of these policies move forward. We had the election, the disaster in Virginia, New Jersey, New York, where they were told they were never going to win again. They won all of that. And as I marked before,
not only did they win all of that, but the Republicans lost a lot of ground on the shutdown too. They hoped to hand it to the Democrats and play partisan politics, and they lost big. The Republicans are getting as much of a blame for that as the Democrats now.
Well, let me ask you one thing, Tom. Let me ask you another thing.
Yeah,
we mentioned this a few minutes ago. Will we have a digital dollar, and will it happen under the Trump administration?
I fear very much that we will. And I like very much a lot of the things that Trump has done. He has done amazing things, but there are some things that he has some real weaknesses on. And this whole thing with his promotion of AI and all that is I think terrifying, because this is the real danger to individual liberty, to our personal property. They have plans to digitize all of that and have the government control it. And when they control the economy, the money system, then you just watch what Red China has done all these years. You disagree with them, zap, everything you've got is gone. And they're also digitizing our property and the way we live and our homes and so forth. There is a tax on zoning protections for single family neighborhoods, and they're moving into those neighborhoods with high-rise apartments and telling us we have a housing shortage. We don't have a housing shortage. We got a government problem. And so all of these things are step by step moving forward. And I fear in a lot of it that Trump is not standing up against this. In fact, is promoting some of it that is the most dangerous. And what I work on, what I advocate is that while he is doing some good things at the federal level, if we're going to fight this, we've got to do it at the local level. People have to organize there, protect their property, have influence on their city councils, and state legislatures. There are 20,000 non-governmental organizations working through the World Economic Forum to put these policies in place, and they are surrounding your local elected officials. We have got to be there. They're not feeling from us. They're not feeling pressure, and that is what my whole effort that I work on is to create some pressure coming from the people, so the elected officials understand who they represent. And I think that's the only way we're going to come back.
What about the president pushing Congress, saying, look, we need to let the states have equal footing protection. We need to get out of this land that the federal government doesn't have authority to be involved in whatsoever. Read your Constitution if you don't believe me, people. What about the president pushing Congress on that point?
Absolutely right. That's what he's going in the right direction on, and I totally agree. Yeah.
Is he doing it, though?
Well, that's a good question. Where's the pressure coming from? What we don't see is all that pressure behind the scenes, and he is susceptible to it as well. As strong as he is, there are these people. Look at Bill Gates, who is the worst enemy to everything that Trump wants to do, but having dinner with him at the White House, and they smile at him and say,
he should be having dinner with the three of us so that he can get some people, whispering in his ear that have common sense and constitutionality in mind.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Can you set that up, Sheriff?
Yeah, right after I go golfing with him at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. Let me know how it goes. But he's meeting with all kinds of people that I don't think he ought to be meeting with either.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, they understand what they have to do to keep control. And one of them is be there on top of him, telling him things and guiding him in things. And again, we're not there. And that's the problem. When you're in a situation, the government is so massive. One man cannot change all of it. He's got to have a team. He's got to have a good sized team in place.
Well, that's why he's got to make Tom DeWeese the leader of the Secretary of the Interior. That way you can go ahead and take care of business. Come on, he doesn't need to do it all himself.
Oh, okay.
We've got people waiting in the wings. We got to have Sheriff Mack in charge of the Justice Department instead of Pam Bondi. We got to go ahead and get it done. I'll be in charge of the media. We can throw down. Yeah. There's a lot of people that could really make a difference, but none of those people seem to be getting any government positions whatsoever. Is the problem that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I finally, just before the shutdown started, I made contacts with some folks in the White House, and I was thinking I was going to finally get some input, and they asked me for some information. And I gathered it and sent an email to them to answer what they'd asked me for, maybe finally open this communication. And I got it back an automatic email. Because of the shutdown, we are not here. So I've lost that connection. At least now when the shutdown is over, I'm going to have to start over to rebuild it. I was on my way, but that's what happened.
Yeah. And my response is anybody who claims the shutdown is preventing them from doing something while they're getting paid, in my opinion, they should be put in jail for stealing money from the American people. If you're not at work and you claim you're getting paid and you're not working, there's a problem with that. Normally you get fired if you took a paycheck and weren't working, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's in the real world. Yeah.
But, that's kind of what we deal with. And so I'm not here really to criticize everybody. I know it sounds like it, ladies and gentlemen. What I really want to do is take this window of opportunity in which I think something significant could be done. We've got a little bit of time left. Not much, but a little bit. And if Mike Johnson and those guys were to codify a lot of the tariffs that President Trump is doing, that would be wonderful. And then what we've got to do is decrease the burden on the American taxpayer. If you're going to increase tariffs, fine. But you've got to somehow provide relief elsewhere. And if you don't, it's just increased burden, right? And don't try to give me a stimulus check or some kind of weird check. I don't want that one-time redistribution of wealth plan. Just get rid of my unconstitutional taxes.
Yep.
All right. We've got to really start to focus on this. We've got to have things to run on. There could be significant things that could be done that you could run on that would be ground-breaking, changing. Giving back the land from the feds to the states would be one of them. Abolishing the IRS would be another one of them. I mean, there's so many things that could be done. We'll talk about it with the good sheriffs. CSPOA.org, Richard Mack. and Tom DeWeese, AmericanPolicy.org. I'm Sam Bushman. Liberty Roundtable Live continues in seconds.
Proclaiming liberty across the land. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The House is the next stop for a bill to reopen the government. The Senate passed the measure last night. The House could take it up as soon as tomorrow. Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson says that lawmakers will have to make up for lost time once the longest shutdown in U.S. history is over.
Johnson looks forward to Congress returning to a regular legislative session after the House has been in recess for several weeks, and he offers this warning to fellow lawmakers.
There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us.
The House Speaker sent lawmakers home after their September 19th vote to approve a temporary spending bill and has refused to bring them back until the government reopens. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Senate bill keeps the government funded through January 30th. It keeps SNAP financed through next September, and it guarantees a vote on Obamacare subsidies. Parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes digging out from the season's first significant snowfall. The lake effect snow machine kicked into high gear as chilly Arctic air filters as far south as Florida.
Local governments across the South have opened heated shelters. Hazardous road conditions are affecting travel in Tennessee, Michigan, Indiana, and Wisconsin. Meanwhile, gardeners in the Midwest and Northeast are advised to protect plants as the growing season ends. In addition, wind chills in Florida might cause iguanas to fall from trees.
And that's correspondent Andrew Stewart. An illegal immigrant from Mexico is under arrest, accused of opening fire on ICE agents in Chicago over the weekend. Death threats against and assaults on ICE agents have skyrocketed in recent months. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 162 points, NASDAQ down 186. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began, Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I have this awesome idea. Nobody's ever heard of it before. Listen up carefully. What I think the Republicans ought to do is they ought to abolish the education department before 2026, and that way they can actually do what they said for once. What do you think of that, Sheriff Mack?
Yeah, they won't do it because they're too busy following Democrats. And Tom is exactly correct about that.
Oh, boy, okay.
They
Well, what else could they do?
the game.
What ideas do you have? I've given several that we could, bring the states in on the equal footing clause so we give the land back and quit playing games with the land. I want to abolish the Federal Reserve. I want to go ahead and shut down the IRS. I want to get rid of the education department. I want the Republicans to have something solid, historic to run on. What recommendations would you have, Tom?
Well, I agree with all of what you said. The other half of it is that we need to organize, and I'm going to just keep saying this, we need to organize at the local level as we're working and pushing policy there and having them feel our impact. That moves up. And so you have, it can meet in the middle with what Trump is doing at the top, and we can build on the bottom and move up into the state legislatures and counter these guys, because you have to understand these forces that are putting these policies in place are surrounding all of your elected officials, and they're feeling that pressure, and they're not feeling it from the people. And a few of us show up once in a while, and all they do is label us as a bunch of crazy nuts and shut it off. And we have to turn that around and have your elected officials feel the pressure from us. And I've got lots and lots of things that I'm working on to teach people how to do this, but we've got to get our local officials protecting property rights. That would be the number one thing. Property rights are protected completely. Sustainable development and all of its crazy policies could not be implemented. And
right, so they were pushing for the 2020 kind of deal. Then they changed it to 2030 because they kind of got set back a little bit with Americans waking up and standing for. Where are we now?
Actually, I fear that if the Republicans don't get their act together and understand what they're up against and focus on it, that they're going to get crushed in the next election. And, then they're going to take control of the House and the Senate. And then they're going to wipe out everything that Trump has accomplished over these years. And they're going to be in total control. That is what we're looking at right now. We have got to stop this whole move towards this, taking control of our currency, digitizing everything, and having no control over our lives. That has got to stop. And I think that is probably the greatest threat we face. And
amen. I agree with Tom DeWeese on this. I pray he's wrong, but predict he's right, Sheriff. And that's why I'm taking this window of opportunity. I don't mean to attack anybody, but I do mean to say this is real. And the games have got to end. That we're going to sit home in Congress while we've had the best congressional opportunity we've had in our lifetimes is a huge, gargantuan mistake. And Mike Johnson on the breaks like, I can't wait till we get back to work. They shut me down. What are you talking about? You were getting paid. You could have done so much in the meantime that you didn't do. It's not even funny. And this is what I'm talking about. We have got to realize this is serious. And our window is shutting. They're about to say it like in a football game. The refrigerator doors are closing. We're about to get shut out and lose. And we can't let that happen without speaking up, Sheriff.
Well, true, Sam. And the other ones that I mentioned today, and I failed to mention another one that's extremely serious, and that is get the federal government out of health insurance business. They have no business doing that.
Hold on. And Trump's trying to do that. Where's Congress? Let's go.
Yeah. And then, of course, what I said earlier, they have no business forming a TSA and being in charge of security or being in charge of air traffic control. That is not a federal government responsibility. Neither one. Do I want security at airports? Yes. That's up to the airports and to the airlines. And can the federal government say, you better have security or we'll come in and do it? maybe, but because there's one little thing that the federal government is in charge of, and that's piracies on the high seas. Maybe that could spill over to the high skies, but quite frankly,
it would take changing the Constitution, though, to do that.
Of course. And
there's ways to do that, which they've done none of as well.
If I were elected president, on the first day I took office, I would bring the cabinet together. I'd have everybody give everybody a copy of the Constitution, and I'd say, now let's go down through this. There are 17 enumerated powers of the federal government. Is your agency named in there? If not, your job is to get rid of it. Go straight down the line till we reestablish the Constitution.
Okay. Yeah. So all I can tell you is it's hard to kind of know how to handle this, but we've got to really start to stand on bold, clear opportunities here. And I just feel like I don't see a single opportunity that Congress has really seized at all. They've kicked the can down the road on financing. They haven't taken up any legislation to codify anything President Trump has done. There's so much that needs to happen here, and we have got to put pressure on our Congress, though. I don't know what they're doing, but I kind of think that the Republicans in Congress have undermined Trump more than anybody else, Sheriff.
Well, that's true, and it's just a simple. These things are simple, Sam. But you're right; they would have huge impact on showing that the Republicans finally did something besides chasing Democrats around, and just being the counter to Democrats. That's not an agenda. That's not the constitutional return that we're after.
What about putting Fauci in prison and saying, look, you're a criminal. How many people are dead because of your dishonest actions? See, any of these things would be huge wins. And I think it transcends partisan politics as well.
It should.
Yeah, if those people would start to be arrested and put in prison, it would have a huge impact on the other forces who are sitting there trying to move forward with the agenda, and they would get cautious. They would start to back off in many ways. And the other thing is, we always see these guys will turn on each other when somebody's no longer valuable to them. So, as you start to put people in jail, then they'll start to turn on the others and say, "Oh, he did it too," and get them out of the way.
Are we going to release the Epstein files? Do you think, Tom?
I don't understand what the problem is there.
Well, there's nothing here. You just need to move along. That's what's going on, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jeff's good. Ghislaine's great. Give Ghislaine her dog. It'll make her feel better. I just don't understand it. Sheriff Mack, do you think we're going to get the Epstein files?
No, because the Democrats, when they're in charge, they won't want to do it. Now they're just wanting to do it because it makes
That's
Trump
right.
look bad.
It's kind of like the Republicans getting rid of health care. They promised they'd do it, and then when they had the real opportunity, they failed and didn't do it at all. Do you think we're going to get to the bottom of the JFK assassination and know what happened there?
1 year at a time, maybe.
How about the Charlie Kirk assassination? Are we going to get to the truth on that? Because no one believes what we're told.
That is amazing. Can't believe.
See, if the Republicans delivered on any of this stuff to build some confidence, what you've got to do is restore trust in government.
Yeah.
And what is it going to take to restore some trust in government? It's going to take some bold moves like that, or there's just no trust left, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, we're about out of time this segment. Sheriff Mack has to leave after this. He's got some things to attend to. Sheriff Mack, I don't mean to criticize and just be negative. I think Trump's done a lot of great stuff. I just wish we were unified to make it stick. I wish we were unified to take bold enough actions to truly show how we're really different. And unless we get that done, we're going to lose. Even if we don't lose in 26, by 28 we sure will.
Well, we will, and the pendulum swings. Our good friend Jordan, the patriotic singer, he did the song. And the pendulum swings from the left to the right, and in the middle of that, it's all of us voters and citizens are so confused about seeing this swinging political pendulum, and what happens? Nothing changes. Nothing changes. And that's the problem with all of this. And that's why we want to see bold actions by the Republican Party to finally show that there is a difference between the Republicans and the corrupt Democrats.
Well, and I want to see them show some respect for their oaths of office and show some respect for the supreme law of our land, too. It's very clear. You can lay out and point to the sections in the Constitution. Hey, if we're going to have market reprisals on the high seas, I support Trump stopping drug boats. Okay? What I don't support is him acting unilaterally like a king, like he can just kill anybody he wants to without due process. But if we declared them true terrorists and Congress really were to double down on that and focus on that and say, hey, here's a mark and reprisal letter and let's take action because we need to for the safety of America. See, I would support it 100%. It's not even the point oftentimes. It's how we go about it that's critical. Sheriff?
Yeah, it is. And, there's a lot to say about that. And so I'm all for it. Again, I'm going to go back to innocence in prison, Sam, one of mine and your key issue. I'm fed up with the bureaucratic nightmare that United States Congress and federal government have shoved down our throats. And again, one of the worst ones there, Department of Education.
Amen. I also want to know why Roger Stone hasn't been vindicated. The people that basically attacked him and tipped off CNN and went to his house and made a big old show. Why aren't some of those people in prison?
And that proves the one difference between the Republicans. Republicans just have John Bolton report in. Democrats have them with a SWAT
We're
team.
flat out of time. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thanks, guys.
You know where the solution can be found, Mr. President? In churches, in wedding chapels, in maternity wards across the country and around the world. More babies will mean forward-looking adults, the sort we need to tackle long-term, large-scale problems. American babies in particular are likely going to be wealthier, better educated, and more conservation-minded than children raised in still industrializing countries. As economist Tyler Cowen recently wrote, quote, "By having more children, you're making your nation more populous, thus boosting its capacity to solve climate change. The planet does not need for us to think globally and act locally so much as it needs us to think family and act personally. The solution to so many of our problems, at all times and in all places, is to fall in love, get married, and have some kids."
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
The enemies of liberty seem to own the media as well. It's interesting how that happens. Even the Republicans and conservatives, they all go on the liberal shows. I don't know why they do that. They ought to reject the liberal media. It's a dishonest, immoral media, as Trump has wisely pointed out over and over. But even Trump loves them. Why they don't support folks like us and come on our shows and give us credibility and reject the mainstream press, I don't know, but that's the deal. But the Democrats and the liberals really control the media. And here's an example of my point. South Park creators, guy by the name of Matt Stone, the other guy's by the name of Trey Parker or whatever, they're discussing their decision to put Donald Trump in the South Park show as a character. They're doing so in a New York Times interview. Now, this is liberals going to the liberal press, but again, this is my point. Why don't we do anything like this ever? The show introduced a, quote, Trump character in the first episode of its 27th season. Now they're portraying Trump as a main character. They say they were motivated by the political climate and a merger between Comedy Central, parent company Paramount, and then they say this guidance that needed Trump approval or whatever else. And despite the initial plans, they had a one-time parody in the beginning, but it went so well. They say it's so rich, it's so awesome that they're making Trump going forward a big character in their presentation. South Park had portrayed Trump in various scenarios, including a romantic storyline with Satan. So see, now Trump and Satan are kind of in a tryst there, which has continued into the next, into the season. They say recurring characters now include members of the Trump administration, such as Vice President J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem, and others. The show recently addressed the critiques of its, quote, political focus, basically saying, hey, we believe this is necessary so that people can kind of know the truth. Well, because they do this, they garner tremendous, you can think it's nothing and it's a clown show, and we can ignore it if we want to, but we do it at our own peril, in my opinion. Because what happens is they shape public opinion with their comedy routines. I mean, hey, you think it's going to have any effect when a significant amount of people watch national TV and they see that the president of the United States has a romantic involvement with Satan? Okay, now Trump will probably sue and win a bunch of money. That won't do any of us any good. What's going on here, and why do we allow this to continue? We never put anything up in opposition like this or put it up properly. But Trump being involved with Satan in some kind of it's just psychotic, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I keep saying it. We have to understand that they have an agenda, and they use everything they've got, not only in politics, not only in the legislative sessions and stuff, but in the entertainment world. I mean, look at Saturday Night Live and all of that, and it doesn't even matter if their shows hardly have anybody watching. They continue to promote this agenda. And any way they can make Trump look evil, bad, stupid, idiotic, any way they can do that, they're going to do it. And they'll use everything they've got to put that in place.
Why don't we talk about Trump's wife, Melania, has put together the Be Best campaign, and she wants to help people not bully one another, and she wants to help people be respectful. And then all they do is mock her and say, well, your husband's the biggest offender of all. But she's trying to do some good there. And so they're going to basically mock Trump and suggest that he's involved a romantic storyline with Satan or whatever. I mean, that's offensive to the first lady. How dare you? Now, can they do that? I guess so with their freedom of speech. But at the same time, we don't even have any opposition to any of this stuff. I don't even think most conservatives even know about this happening, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I hadn't seen those shows you're talking about, but our side doesn't have those kind of outlets. If somebody ends up in Hollywood espousing conservative principles, they suddenly don't make movies anymore. They're cut out. They're shut off. And so these kind of things, we don't have that machine to put that information out there. And one of the biggest problems we have, Sam, is those of us who believe in limited government, limited, honest government, is because we don't like government. We don't want it involved in our lives. And since we don't like government, we don't want to get involved in it. And I have been working across this country trying to get local people activated to get out there and really stand up to what's happening. And they'll say, oh, I've got a family to raise. I got a job to do. It's just I don't have time to do all that. Don't understand all that stuff. We can't get them out there on, to really counter this stuff. And it's, what we end up with, those of us who don't like government are ending up with more government. And this is something we have got to deal with. And we've got to, we could easily, I watch Saturday Night Live and I think what an amazing thing it would be if they would actually show how crazy, idiotic the Democrats are being. It'd be hysterical to show it in their event. No, they don't do it that way. It's the other side. And we've got to turn that around. We've got to change it.
Well, and we've got to start funding the media, though. This idea that these guys, why are all these mainstream, government officials showing up on all these liberal, extreme, I mean, they hate them, but yet they appear on their show. Why don't they, jettison some of that and stand up with some of us to really have an impact and hear what we have to say? And I mean, they get rid of their echo chamber that way. They would reduce the stature of the mainstream press that way. They would increase our ability to tell the tale of truth that way. But see that, I mean, we just hear none of it. Well, I got sad news at the end of the hour I want to get your opinion on, because you deal with lands and local issues and property rights and all that kind of stuff, Tom. The headline says the Farmer's Almanac, the annual publication providing weather forecasts and advice since 1818, announced it will cease publication with its last edition in 2026. Founded in New Jersey and now based in Maine, this almanac, by the way, is distinctly different from the old Farmer's Almanac, which began in 1792 and is still publishing today. But, you know, it's interesting. This has to close down because they don't have funding and they don't have readership. Americans are jettisoning, I think, something that's pretty important. And you could say, well, that's nothing. Who cares? Yeah, but when you get rid of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 conservative or, you know, moral things or things that tie us to the land and local and what's happening with the farmers, and I think something big is lost, Tom.
I agree with you. And there's two different things here. One, dealing with the farmers, they are being absolutely destroyed. And all these policies, their property, their ability to raise their crops, being buried under monstrous wind and solar things, pushing money into their pockets, which they desperately need, but then they lose control of their land. And they are being crushed. And a lot of farmers believe that they're just in it alone. There's nothing they can do. And they give up. And we're losing hundreds, if not thousands, of farmers, ranchers, people in the beef industry and so forth. We're losing them. The other thing is that all the important publications, reading magazines, reading books, and so forth, is dying. And I'm told all the time, you know, nobody has an attention span past about 30 seconds. So you've got to say it real quick. Well, you can't tell people what's happening, what the truth is, what all the things are in 30 seconds. I can't even write a headline that quick. So, you know, it's just this is the dumbing down of the American people to give them the power, these forces the power to take control. And so it's these are the dangers that we're facing, and that's got to be turned around.
And many can say, well, I don't care about the Farmer's Almanac. I'm not a farmer. And I'm saying, no, it's about publications that we can read. It's about publications that can't be manipulated by AI. It's about people and organizations who have, you know, been known for truth telling and candid local realities that people depend on. All those things are being taken away from us. And if they take our heritage away, if they take anything that ties us to the past away, pretty soon we won't have any stability. We won't have any direction. We won't have any guidance. We'll just be in this sea of AI controlled manipulation and nothing more. And I think that's what they want. And that's why I'm pushing back, Tom.
I agree. And what you said at the very beginning of the program about democracy, save our democracy. And I'm like you. Every single time I hear him say that, I scream at the TV. We're not a democracy, we're a republic. But conservative television shows and on and on and on, news shows, all pushing democracy, democracy, democracy. We're falling right into the trap that these guys have set. They are controlling the debate. And that is where we have got to make a change and change the debate and show that they are the enemy to your freedom, to your ability to live as you choose, to your pocketbook, to your property, everything. That we have got to defend it and got to defeat them. And that's the message we've got to get out.
They created whitehouse.gov/ and I can't remember what it was called. It was media or press or something. And I went there as soon as they announced it and signed up, and they said they'd get back to me, and I haven't heard a single word since.
Yeah.
See, this is the problem. Why don't we have why isn't Mike Johnson wanting to come on Liberty Roundtable? Why isn't Mike Johnson saying, I want to sit down with Sam Bushman, Sheriff Richard Mack, and Tom DeWeese for lunch? We've got some things we got to work on and talk about together. See, but they're too busy sitting down with international lobbyists. They're too busy, you know, at home while they're getting paid by us. In my opinion, criminal activity. That's what's happening there. And we've got to really, until the American people demand it, nothing's going to happen is the point. We've got to make sure our greater numbers can be the tale of the day, if you will, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's these forces I'm talking about. You have these non-governmental organizations that are surrounding all of your elected officials, and they can't hear us and they can't see us because of that.
True story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn more about what Sheriff Mack is doing, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. If you want to get involved with and be involved in what Tom DeWeese is doing, AmericanPolicy.org. They're both making a tremendous difference. That's why I bring them to the round table for discussions. We are one of the greatest think tanks this world's ever known right here on Liberty Roundtable Live, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your financial and otherwise support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Spread the word. Share the love. We are syndicated by the Loving Liberty Radio Networks. Kathy and Bert Smith started that, and we're delighted to carry that along. CSPOA.org, lovingliberty.net, and AmericanPolicy.org. God save America.